Drose is playing so well for the Knicks. Let's get into this. Derrick Rose is one of the biggest what-if stories in the NBA. After being drafted number 1 overall to the Chicago Bulls, Derrick Rose was the youngest player to ever win the MVP award. D-Rose was thriving early on in his career, showing off a tremendous amount of ability and skill, and many thought that he could be a true superstar player for years to come. But then the injuries started coming in. He tore his ACL, then he tore his meniscus, and then he repeatedly got hurt. His knees were a big issue for him, and his career started going downhill. D-Rose was even at a turning point in his NBA career when he was on the Cleveland Cavaliers, where he was contemplating retiring from the NBA just due to all the injuries that he was facing year in and year out. But luckily for the NBA fans and for himself as well, he didn't end up retiring and continued to keep playing. After his Cleveland Cavaliers stint, D-Rose really revived his career with coach Tom Thibodeau in Minnesota, where he was putting up amazing numbers off the bench and even had an amazing 55-point game for Minnesota. In Minnesota, I really think Derrick Rose really found out what his new role would be due to all the injuries that he's faced, and he wasn't able to play as many minutes as he previously did. Obviously, D-Rose still has a ton of value for teams going forward, and I think his new role is a guy that comes off the bench and could absolutely score like crazy, but his new role is a guy who's going to play about 20 to 25 minutes per night and just be a really good scorer off the bench, and also a guy who could facilitate the offense a little bit. Obviously, when you watch D-Rose now, he's not nearly as athletic as he used to be just due to all the injuries, and he's not really that close that he used to be in really 2016, 2017. He's lost athleticism since then as well, but when you watch D-Rose now, he's a much better jump shot shooter than he used to be, and he's still pretty good at getting to the basket. He still has that quick twitch to get there. He just doesn't finish as well as he did, but he's still obviously a great guy to have off the bench, and he's still very efficient and effective offensively. He still has that quick twitch, as I said, to get to the basket, but really what stands out to me about D-Rose's game is his three-point shot is much better than it used to be, which is a very great thing for D-Rose going forward if he wants to play a few more years in this league, because historically when you look at players that were super athletic in their prime, as they get older, typically a guy like that, when they start to lose their athleticism, they really work on their jump shot and look to improve their jump shot so they could be effective for a few years. Another part of D-Rose's game that I think is pretty underrated is his passing ability. When I watch this guy now play, he still pushes the ball up the court pretty quickly, and when all his teammates are running down the court, he usually finds his teammates or gets himself a wide open layup. And running in transition and getting easy buckets is the most important thing you can do, and that sometimes determines the difference between who wins and who loses that game. And D-Rose is on the New York Knicks right now, and currently, as recording this, they're last in pace in the league because they don't run at all in transition, and D-Rose helps with that slightly because whenever he gets the ball, he always looks to push it down the court. Another part of D-Rose's role is his ability to teach younger players how to play the game. When he was in Detroit, Killian Hayes raved about D-Rose and his ability to teach him how to play in the NBA and really be a great mentor to him. And even currently with the New York Knicks, rookies both Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley both rave about the fact how D-Rose is a great mentor towards both of them and really teaches them how to play and how hard you have to work to be great in the NBA. For D-Rose to not worry about his personal stats and worry about team winning, and also the ability to mentor players and realize that they're the future and that he's a little bit older in this league, is a really mature way of D-Rose to go about it, and I give D-Rose a lot of respect for that. There have been plenty of players in both the NBA and NFL and in any sport, honestly, where the older guy doesn't necessarily want to mentor the younger guy because they just feel like the better the younger guy gets, the more quick they would be out of the league. But D-Rose is nothing like that. He's the complete opposite. I think D-Rose is probably the most loved NBA player right now, just due to the fact that his prime was cut short, and he was such a great player that showed a tremendous amount of promise when he was in his prime. But due to that fact, it's great to see that D-Rose is still playing, and he's really excelling and playing really well at this stage of his career, even after all the injuries. It's very inspiring to a lot of people watching. It really just shows the hard work and dedication that D-Rose puts towards this game, because he obviously has the money already, and a lot of people in his position position after going through all those injuries and having the money that he has would quit the NBA and move on to a new life. But getting back to D-Rose's play this season with the New York Knicks, when you just watch him out there, everyone seems to play a little bit better and a little bit faster with him at point guard, which is really good to see. And he's really one of the biggest reasons why the Knicks are so good this year and continue to get better as the year progresses. Just looking at one thing that D-Rose makes better about the team is Obi Toppin this season clearly had a really disappointing season so far and will probably at the end of the year. But Obi Toppin has been looking slightly better as of late, and one of the reasons for that is D-Rose is really looking for him and finding him for lobs and just in the pick and roll and getting him in easy spots for him to be successful. When before D-Rose was there, the point guards there like Elfrid Payton and even Emmanuel Quickley weren't necessarily doing that. Quickley, I give him a pass because he's a rookie and he's more of a scoring guard, but Elfrid Payton is a decent passer and should really look to get the ball to Obi Toppin in better spots. Another example of how D-Rose shows his value to an NBA team even at this stage of his career is for how good the Knicks have been this season and how much they improved throughout the season. One of their biggest issues is the fact that they're not able to score or really be effective in the clutch, but D-Rose has really helped them in that situation due to his ability to get to the basket and get easy layups, as well as getting to the basket and breaking down the defense and kicking out to wide open three-point shooters. And D-Rose has also been way better shooter, as I said previously, and that shot in the clutch especially has helped the Knicks a lot. Although, as I said before, D-Rose is not as athletic as he used to be, obviously, and he's not throwing down posters on literally everybody he sees, he still has some athleticism and is definitely still valuable to an NBA team, as shown in how he's playing this season with the New York Knicks. But overall, D-Rose's new role is a guy who's going to play anywhere from 25 to 20 minutes a game, and he's just going to be a guy coming off the bench that could really get the offense going, and if needed, he could really score 20 to 25 whenever he wants. He's still an absolute bucket. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think D-Rose is still a very valuable player in this league, even at this stage of his career? Or do you think D-Rose is a little more washed and only has a few more years left in the league? But anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Until the next time, peace out, guys.